Her eyes were tired, her body frail, yet her spirit still whispered, "I want to live." That was Mira, a once beautiful mother dog who had spent her entire life being used for breeding. Behind those gentle eyes was a story of quiet endurance, a life defined by neglect, exhaustion, and longing for freedom. But this is not a story about pain. It's a story about rebirth, about how love can heal even the most broken soul. When rescuers first saw Mira, they could tell right away she had given everything she had for her puppies. Her back was sunken, her fur dull and patchy from malnutrition. Her teeth were worn down, almost completely damaged. Her nails, long and untrimmed, told the story of a dog who had never known the feeling of grass beneath her paws. She had been chained, confined, and used, a body turned into a machine for profit. But all of that ended the day she and her little ones were found. The rescue team arrived just in time, bringing not only safety, but hope. As they loaded her and her puppies into the car, Mira didn't resist. She looked back once, perhaps to make sure her babies were safe, then laid her head down, as if finally ready to rest. For the first time in her life, Mira was free. At the temporary shelter, Mira's recovery began. Her caregivers moved gently, speaking softly, letting her rediscover what kindness felt like. She was given vitamin supplements to rebuild her strength, soft blankets to rest on, and most importantly, peace. Her puppies, affectionately nicknamed the Little Bandits because of their playful nature, thrived quickly. They ate heartily, grew stronger every day, and filled the shelter with laughter. Each one received vaccines and medical care, preparing them for new lives that awaited. Mira watched them grow, her eyes full of quiet pride. Though her body still bore the signs of years of neglect, her heart began to heal. She was learning to trust again. And one by one, her babies found homes, each adopted by loving families who promised them the warmth they had never known before. Can you imagine how she must have felt, watching her children leave one after another, not in sorrow, but in joy? She knew they were safe. She knew their stories were only beginning. After months of care and recovery, something beautiful happened. A kind family saw Mira's story online and couldn't look away. They didn't see a worn-out breeding dog. They saw a gentle soul who had never stopped giving, even when she had nothing left. When they met her, Mira's tail wagged timidly. Then, for the first time in a long time, she leaned into a human's embrace, fully, completely, without fear. That was the moment they knew. She was coming home with them. Her new life was nothing short of magical. No more cages, no more chains, just open fields, soft beds, and loving hands. Mira quickly adapted to her new home, where love was abundant and life was gentle. Her family introduced her to a new friend, a curious, playful cat who instantly adored her. The two became inseparable, often seen napping side by side or chasing each other around the garden. Mira, who once knew only the cold ground of confinement, now walks proudly through parks and trails. Her back, though still curved, no longer symbolizes pain. It's a mark of resilience. Her eyes sparkle with life, her fur shines again, and her heart beats with joy. She loves car rides, where the wind ruffles her fur, and outdoor adventures with her family. Every new place she visits is a reminder of how far she's come. Sometimes her rescuers receive photos. Mira sitting by a lake, Mira curled up beside her cat friend, Mira running freely with a smile that could melt anyone's heart. It's hard to believe she's the same dog who once couldn't even stand without trembling. And maybe that's the greatest miracle of all. Not just survival, but transformation. Mira's journey reminds us that every animal deserves a chance to be loved, not for what they can give, but for who they are. Her story is living proof that kindness can rewrite even the saddest chapters. She was once forgotten. Now, she is cherished. For every Mira still out there, still waiting, still hoping, we can be the ones who change their story. We can choose compassion over indifference, love over neglect. Because when you rescue one animal, you don't just save a life, you restore faith, hope, and love for both of you.
Что ты меня снимаешь? Ну, снимай. Снимай. Покажи, який я недокормлений. Хай люди дивляться.
Обследуем новые территории. Кому хорошо? Кому хорошо? Кому хорошо тут? Скажи вы мне. Ой, как их много. Да, Мир? Да. Да. Сядь, Мир. Мир, сядь. Мир. Да, что? Да.
Здравствуйте! Отошел! Отошел от меня! Отошел, я тебе сказал! Я тебе сказал, отошел!
Ты обиделась? Скажи, я не водоплавающая, да? Я не водоплавающая птичка. Скажи, я не птичка, я собачка-мамка.
So if Mira's story touched your heart, share it. Tell the world that no creature is too broken to heal, and no act of love is ever too small to matter. From a life of suffering to a life of joy, Mira's heart finally found its home.